The brain is a pattern-seeking structure. It's always trying to see patterns. And when you see a certain pattern over and over and over and over and over again, it's like, say you go out and you get rejected 5 times in a row. You just assume the next one's going to be a rejection. Whereas you forget the fact that you can't control luck and you can't control whether someone's going to have a boyfriend and all these other variables that are outside of your control. You forget that, but you just assume the next approach is going to reject you. And then potentially she could have been someone who was on the fence and actually emotionally available, but because you assumed that she wasn't going to be interested, or you interpreted a indicator of her being anxious as disinterest, you then let her go, or didn't go for the number, or didn't go for the instant date, or didn't try to take her home, right? And because of that, you're just going to lose so many potential opportunities that come to you. Guys, I cannot explain how important it is for you to internalize the mindset of being delusionally optimistic. If you start seeing everything through an optimistic lens, whether that view of reality is objectively true or not, it does not matter, because you are more likely to express yourself and exhibit behaviors if you are thinking optimistically that are going to get you what you want. And if you are seeing everything as more negative than they absolutely are, you're more likely to then express yourself and exhibit behaviors that are more likely to get you rejected or have you not get what you want. So in the end, if you start just seeing everything from a more optimistic lens, you're just more likely, out of sheer manifestation, to just create a reality with you more likely to get what you want. And I learned this from Alex. I would watch him in interactions, because I'm naturally a really pessimistic guy. Okay, I've got to understand, I was bullied when I was a kid. I'm really sensitive to indicators of disinterest and disrespect. I got very used to being disrespected and people not liking me when I was younger. So because of that, I'm way more likely to interpret neutral social cues as indicators of disinterest. And I would blow out so many amazing opportunities for myself. But I would watch Alex going into interactions, and girls would be giving him what I would believe were indicators of disinterest, but he would then interpret them as indicators of interest. And because of that, he was then just more likely to express himself in a way that they ended up loving him. It's almost like through sheer delusional optimism, they ended up liking him. Even when he approached them and they were like giving him nothing, they're like almost hate him off the open, because he just believes so wholeheartedly that they love him. And no matter what they do, he's just like, no, this bitch loves me. Of course she does. She's freaking crazy not to. She ends up actually loving him. And I watched it work so many times that I was like, holy, you can really heavily influence someone's perception of you, which, I mean, you can to a certain degree, but I believe it's more of a universal law that you're just more likely to manifest what you want. But whether it's through his behaviors or through a more spiritual way to look at the world, however you want to see it, it still worked. And that's how I learned the power of being delusionally optimistic. Just start seeing everything as positive. So yesterday, Nathan, when that girl was being super awkward with you and she qualified herself to you saying like, oh, by the way, like if I seem like I'm in a bit of a mood, or if I'm giving you a bit of a face, it's because like I'm not used to being approached, right? She's giving you this really weird face. And if she hadn't, like, she's giving you a weird expression, like she's kind of uncomfortable. And if she hadn't have then qualified herself to you and told you that she just wasn't used to this, you would have interpreted her facial expressions and her body language as disinterest. But she literally liked you so much that she did the exercise that we gave you when you had to tell a girl that, oh, just so you know, I'm actually a little bit nervous right now. So if I run out of things to say or something, just understand that this is just not really common for me to do. But I just wanted to come and say hi to you because I thought you were cute, right? To make you feel more comfortable and kind of justify your more clunky social skills and some of those interactions where you're more nervous. She did the exact same thing to you, bro. And she's justifying to you the reason why she might seem a little standoffish, because she's like, I like you. I'm liking this. Please keep talking to me. Don't interpret what I'm doing right now as disinterest. And I'm sorry if I seem a little bit weird because I'm not used to this, but I like you. That's what she's saying to you. But if she hadn't have said that to you, you have no idea. And you would have, every man, because she was hot, right? Any man would have walked out of that interaction and gone, man, she hated me. She's not really giving you much. She's like, all right, it was nice to meet you. She's trying to leave because she's got something on. It's like, oh, she doesn't like me. Most guys would interpret that as just, she didn't like me. She's not attracted to me. Where in reality, she was very attracted to you. In fact, she was intimidated by you and she even told you she was, right? So we have a natural inclination to just see everything and interpret things as negative. You got to understand that so often what we are interpreting as negative is actually neutral or even potentially indicators of their anxiety or them being attached to the outcome. Because girls get getting approached anxiety just like we get approach anxiety. Just like we get flustered and run out of things to say, girls get flustered and run out of things to say. Yesterday, when you were talking to that Chinese girl, bro, she was like literally doing the same thing you were doing on day one when you were kind of gripping at straws. You're trying to keep the conversation going. You're like, what do I say next? And just you blurt out a random question, right? That's like kind of irrelevant to the conversation. The Chinese girl was doing the exact same things to you because she was like, please keep the conversation going. I'm really enjoying this. Please I don't want to fuck this up. I just need to keep the conversation going. And she's filling in the conversational voids for you, doing the exact same thing that a lot of our clients will do because they're really attached to the outcome and trying to fill conversational voids, right? And you have a girl doing this, but when you came out of that interaction, you come back up to me and you're like, yeah, I could have done this better. I could have done this better. I could have done this better. And I'm like, brother, you did everything perfectly. She was the one who was awkward. She was the one who was feeling unentitled. She was the one who was trying to fill conversational voids. If you just start interpreting everything as more positive than your natural inclination, you're actually more likely to be closer to reality. Because when we have a more skewed view of reality, we're wearing these glasses that kind of like filter out positive indicators of interest because of whatever social trauma we have as a kid, whether it was we didn't get positive attention from family, friends, we got negative social feedback from our peers, were bullied, whatever it might be. We just have this natural, like strong wiring in our brain that naturally goes to disinterest, disrespect, they don't like me, right? It's just how we've been wired. Our brains are pattern recognizing machinery, right? But the thing is, that's most likely not the case anymore. You have wired yourself that way, but you don't have a true objective view of what reality actually is. And reality, on average, is going to be more positive than what you assume it is. And the first step is understanding that you have a natural inclination to interpret everything negatively. The next step is to then start reframing everything as more positive than what your natural interpretation is, because that will get you closer to what objective reality actually is. Now, if you go too far into the positive, great, fantastic. You're more likely to get what you want. It's not a bad thing. We always get so worried. It's like, yeah, but then how am I going to get better if I don't take on feedback? It's like, bro, if you guys aren't dumb, if you're getting the exact same response over and over and over again, yes, take a step back and think, what might I be doing here? But before that happens, do not just blindly assume the negative. Go straight to the positive first and then work your way backwards. Don't just start with the negative and work your way forward. You got to remember, these girls have entire lives. They have so many other things going on in their lives. They have so many other, like you forget this is a full-fledged human being and not everything is about you. Stop being a narcissist and thinking it was because of me that up. It's because of me that she was giving me indicators of disinterest. It was because of me she was walking away. It was because of me that she felt uncomfortable. It's like, dude, so many girls feel anxious. So many girls are going to be, if you approach her super confident, calm, charismatic, she's going to be starting to become more reactive to you, and she's probably going to get quite intimidated. It's just going to happen. If you have great body language, girls are going to be slightly intimidated. They're going to be breaking social tension. They're going to be feeling anxious. They're going to be trying to fill in conversational voids sometimes. They're going to be feeling a little bit nervous at times. And sometimes girls feel so nervous, they try to remove themselves from the conversation because they don't want to embarrass themselves. These things happen. We forget this because we just always put it on ourselves. So, guys, start assuming the positive instead of thinking, oh, she's not making eye contact with me because she thinks I'm hideous. Think she's not making eye contact with me because she's fucking nervous. Instead of going, oh, she's trying to remove herself from the conversation right now because she doesn't fucking like me, I'm making her feel fucking weird. Think she's trying to remove herself because she's probably feeling a little bit nervous because she's had a new person interact with her who's pretty confident and she doesn't want to embarrass herself. Start thinking the positive first and then move your way back, okay? Just think delusionally optimistic. And because you have a natural inclination to assume the worst, you're more likely, if you start interpreting things more positively, to be closer to objective reality than what your current view is. Understand that you're actually more likely to be closer to objective reality because you have wired your brain for so many years to assume the worst, that you are more likely to be closer to objective reality if you start just being delusionally optimistic. You've already become delusionally pessimistic. You're not seeing reality for what it truly is. So you're better off just doing the opposite and going too far the other way. And I promise you, if you're naturally pessimistic, you're very unlikely to go too far in the optimistic realm. Let's be fair. You're probably not, it's not going to happen most likely. So if you can get as delusional as you can, you're probably just going to be as close to objective reality as you possibly can be. And it's just like the date the other day, bro. You could have easily taken that girl home. Easily. But you started taking her not answering one question of yours. You have this like a collage, like a shrine of indicators of interest she's given you. Like she's responding so positively to all your questions. She's happily going on this date with you. She's giving you long-winded answers to every one of your questions. She's holding fucking strong eye contact with you. She's showing you every single potential indicator of interest under the sun. But because she doesn't answer perfectly one question you ask her, you just immediately go, oh, she doesn't like me. Where in reality, Alex is sitting there listening to this date, text me going, oi dude, Nathan's about to take this chick home. She fucking loves him. This is a guaranteed, potentially intimate experience from a approach during the day. That's what Alex is texting me. He's like, dude, this is on. He may well be going home with this girl tonight. She loves him. She gives you one neutral social behavior that you can't even like there's so many reasons why she might be not responding, like answering that one question. So many reasons. It's like, maybe it's not something she talks about very often. Maybe it was the way you worded the question. Maybe she didn't understand it. Maybe she was scared of being judged by you. So many reasons why she might not give you the answer to that question, but you just go straight to, oh, she doesn't like me, so she's not investing. Where in reality, she loves you, and you could have taken that way further. And this is why we miss out on so many opportunities for ourselves, because we just assume the worst. I understand what it's like. I'm a natural pessimist. There's been so many times that I'm going home with the girl and I'm like, I don't understand how this is happening, because I feel like I was autistic on this date. I have no idea how this girl likes me. She is way out of my league. How the fuck is this happening? But she's still following me, so I'm going to keep seeing, I'm going to see how far I can take it before I fuck it up. And I just assume I'm going to fuck it up, but I'm going to keep moving it forward, because that's what I do, because I understand I have a natural inclination to assume the worst, so I move it forward until it doesn't move any further forward. And I'll tell you what, doing that has given me more success than almost anything, because I do not have a clear and objective view of reality. I understand that about myself, so I follow the process as best I can. I keep moving things forward as best I can. And that's why we give you guys the structure, so you know, like when you're on the dates, when to move her, when you start moving it forward, when you should start escalating. Even though you think you're being autistic, and then you start escalating, you're like, oh shit, she's giving me really positive responses to this. Obviously, I'm doing better than I assumed. But don't just assume that you're doing poorly. See if you are. Move it forward. Try to move it forward. Invite her home. Try to add some physicality. Go for the kiss. Don't just assume she's not going to like you, because you don't see reality for what it truly is. So guys, I cannot explain. You're just going to have so much more success if you just start assuming the positive. Again, you're not going to stop seeing reality for what it really is. You wired your brain already in a way that's more pessimistic. You're just more likely to be closer to objective reality. So the next time you're sitting at a date and you're thinking, oh, she fucking hates me, don't just assume she hates you and leave. Stay on the date, continue building investment, and follow the process. And when it's time to make the next move, for example, move to the next location, start adding some physicality, do it. See what happens. Don't just assume she's going to not be receptive to it. Invite her home. See what happens. You'll be so surprised with how well things go compared to what you assume. Every man who has low self-esteem is far more desirable than they realize they are. But they lose so many opportunities for themselves because they start assuming girls don't like them. So they start behaving in a way that's more likely to create the reality that they just assume, and then they reinforce that reality because they assume that the girl didn't like them. You assume you didn't like her, thus you start behaving in a way that manifests her not liking you or you not getting the result you want, and then it just reinforces this belief that you're not enough or that you are not desirable, but it's not true. Follow the process, start becoming delusionally optimistic, boys.